Now that the first year of the 13 Days of Dragon Ball Z has concluded, I have took it upon myself to rank these 13 movies in order from worst to best. I was thinking of doing the original 13, but I've decided I will include Battle of Gods and Resurrection F on this list. So, this is my top 15 Dragon Ball Z movies. One more thing before I proceed to the list, the ratings I gave in the 13 Days of Dragon Ball Z are mostly how good the movies are, but this list is mostly depending on my enjoyment of the movies. So yeah, let's go! Number 15. Broly's Second Coming is definitely the worst movie from the Broly trilogy, and the whole entire Dragon Ball Z franchise in my opinion. The idea of how they brought Broly back wasn't too intriguing to me, and the main characters don't interest me much either. The action was bland as well, with the exception of the last beam struggle, which even then reminded me a little too much of a Cell Saga clash. Goten and Trunks were a bit of a letdown as well, and did nothing apart from getting the plot rolling. I mean, some jokes worked, but overall this movie is very disappointing indeed. Number 14. People always complain about Dragon Ball Super about the art and animation, but they give this a pass? Anyway, it does seem like they are running out of ideas for a new villain, so they just brought Cooler back for no reason. The jokes don't really land at all, and it is a very lackluster experience. Number 13. Bio Broly. Now you may be asking why I prefer this over Second Coming. This is because I think the story is more engaging and the characters were actually more enjoyable to listen to in this movie. As I said in my review, the Frankenstein concept for Broly is pretty cool, and it is way more original than just bringing him back. The fighting is okay, but the music is fucking amazing, especially the ending song at the end of the film. If I had to list off only one reason to watch Bio Broly, I'd say it's for the ending song, because it's that good. Number 12. Super Android 13. Apart from a great opening sequence with 17 killing Dr. Gero, this one isn't too amazing either. I know I'm being quite pessimistic about these movies, but trust me, these movies are pretty bad. At least in this particular film, 3 battles are going on at once, which is a pretty awesome concept, even though it feels like they have the same formula. Hero gets beat up by a villain, hero goes Super Saiyan, and the hero beats villain. Super Android 13 also suffers from stupid writing which plagued Return of Cooler, where they don't go into their Super Saiyan form until the last third of the movie. All in all, this movie gets very dull fast, and the action is not really exciting throughout. Number 11. Taking the spot of number 11 on this list is The World's Strongest. The backstory of this movie is great, as I enjoyed the mad scientist wanting to take over the world concept, and how the main villain looks the least intimidating until the very end. The fight choreography is good too, with fast and energetic movements with the characters. I put this movie so low on the list because it feels too similar to the Goku vs Vegeta fight in a lot of ways, as they use the generic Summon the Spirit Bomb ending for this one. The World's Strongest is an alright movie, but it just isn't as good as the other ones in the franchise. Number 10. Cooler's Revenge. Now the idea of Frieza's family tree being branched out into a movie is always a delight to see, and Cooler's Revenge definitely delivers with that. Cooler's character in the film is great, and I love the small differences between him and Frieza's personality. The further evolution is very cool, and has an interesting look about it. The problem with this film is that it is slow in parts, and the new form that Cooler attains is not really explained. There's also a lack of plot involved with Cooler's Revenge, with the exception of him referencing the BOJACK special. Number 9. Lord Slug. The simplicity of Lord Slug works with there being a concise story and a kick-ass transformation sequence. The action was nice as it made you feel the struggle between Goku fighting Lord Slug, or how Chi-Chi and Gohan were taking on the soldiers. The grittier tone they used for the scenes was good too, and showcased more variety in locations with them fighting in an abandoned city. This movie is good, don't get me wrong, but there are movies on this list that pull in the action and the story way better. Number 8. Fusion Reborn. Now this one is a fun time. I mean, the story is very bare bones, but it is very entertaining to watch, especially with the cutaway scenes with Goten and Trunks meeting the dictator or Adolf Hitler. I also like the cartoony look they gave to those scenes, since it made it more childlike and less, well, serious. Anyway, it was awesome to see Pikkon in this movie, and the fusion concept being, well, reborn was great too. The main villain Janemba was very interesting when he transformed, and I liked how even Super Saiyan 3 Goku couldn't even hold a candle to him, adding more tension to the movie. Number 7. Calling back to the first movie in their long-running Dragon Ball Z franchise, Dead Zone is a remake of sorts to the Goku vs Raditz fight in a Saiyan arc. Enough changes were made for the movie to stand on its own, with a further backstory with the coming of Earth, which was interesting to see. The fighting is really solid for the most part, and for the first Dragon Ball Z movie, it works very well. It's fast, fluid, and really well paced. I love how the main villain was a character who was sort of pushed to the edge by his emotions, and how he wants revenge to make the world suffer because he was jealous of the fact that he didn't get the role of Kami. Good stuff. Number 6. The concept of introducing rogue Saiyans that were on other planets is fantastic and was actually done quite well in the Tree of Might. Like I said in my review, the voice performance by Nozawa as Turles is perfectly executed and gave a proper entertaining vibe about him. The story and action flowed together nicely, and this is certainly a very enjoyable DBZ experience. Number 5. Taking place during the 7-year gap between the defeat of Cell and the arrival of Boo, BOJACK UNBOUND is a great Dragon Ball Z movie that allows for the supporting cast to have a major role, which I very much respect. We see more of Gohan, future Trunks, and even Vegeta comes back in this film, and that's a very nice touch that a lot of these movies in the franchise miss out on. I'm a fan of compelling, yet the simple story, and how the main character isn't Goku for once. With a combination of memorable moments and a variety of locations, BOJACK UNBOUND definitely deserves a spot in the list. Number 4. One of the more story-driven Dragon Ball Z films is Wrath of the Dragon, and it works due to its interesting new protagonist, Tapion. I love the comparisons between him and Link from the Legend of Zelda games, and I especially like the bond he shares with Trunks later on in the movie. The action is awesome and all, but the emotional connection you get with these characters and the situation that they are in is what draws you into the movie even more. The backstory for the new characters are intriguing, and this is a very fun movie to rewatch. Number 3. Don't kill me for having a Broly movie in the top 3. I love this movie because it has an interesting concept about a Saiyan who was outcasted from his race because of his latent potential is really cool. Also, the action was nicely paced, spanning over a good portion of the movie. One of my favorite scenes is when he takes on a full-powered Kamehameha by Goku. That was amazing. I'm aware that this isn't the best written DBZ film, but it's pretty damn enjoyable. Number 2. One of the best examples of a Dragon Ball Z movie is right here, Resurrection F. Reviving the tyrannical monster known as Frieza in order to seek revenge against his former nemesis is a great concept to explore. The story is easy to follow and gets straight to the point, and the fighting reflects that as well. Resurrection F has hilarious moments, especially with the debut of BOJACK the Galactic Patrolman in this movie, with outstanding animation quality and killer performances with the Japanese and English cast. This is my second favorite Dragon Ball Z movie to date. Number 1. And here it is, my absolute favorite Dragon Ball Z movie is Battle of Gods. This movie holds a special place in my heart, mainly because it rejuvenated my love of a franchise and brought in many other viewers into it. The action pieces were masterful, especially one towards the end that defines Dragon Ball Z. The comedy was fun throughout Battle of Gods, and the comical use of side characters really pulled off. Having a completely original villain this time around was great too, with the God of Destruction Beerus being one of my favorite characters to date. I love how Toriyama went for an Egyptian cat look that reflected the gods quite a bit. What can I say that hasn't already been said about this movie? It's just so fucking amazing, and it's well worth seeing if you are into Dragon Ball at all. Battle of Gods is a perfect blend of classic Toriyama humor and a feeling of intense action in Dragon Ball Z. Well worth it. Well, that's pretty much it guys. If you have a different pick for the number 1 spot, please discuss it with me in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, since it really helps me out. See ya later!